Hi friends! So today we're going to be doing lesson 6.7, Division Concepts, Repeated Subtraction. So our expectations for today, please stay muted unless called on by the teacher. I need your listening ears and your observant eyes. And please do not start working on the worksheet until the end of our lesson. All right, friends, so our materials we will need today is our 6.7 worksheet and a pencil. So go ahead and take some time to get your 6.7 worksheet. You can pause the video and then come right back. So in our previous unit, we learned how to identify the number of rows, columns, objects in an array. And we are going to be doing that today as well, but we will be learning today how to identify the number of rows, columns, and objects in an array, but we will also be using repeated subtraction to get to 0. So we can use repeated subtraction to solve a division problem, just as we can use repeated addition to solve a multiplication problem. So when we're doing division, we use repeated subtraction, and if we're doing multiplication, we're doing repeated addition. So here's an example. So it says, how many times will we be able to subtract 5? We have 20 divided by 5. So they're going ahead and they are doing 20 minus 5, and they're constantly subtracting 5 over and over again. So this is important because it's going to help us solve division problems. It's going to make it easier for us to solve those division problems because sometimes it can be a little tricky. So this will help make it easier by learning these strategies. So now it's time to practice. You all are doing so well. I'm so proud of you. So let's do some examples now. All right, friends. So yesterday we learned about arrays. Can anyone tell me what they remember about an array? Right, they're made of rows and columns, and they're a way to organize and count objects quickly. So right here, we have an array of squares. How many squares are there in all? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10 squares in all. How many columns were they split into? Right, 5. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, columns are vertical. They go up and down. All right, now how many squares are in each column? 1, 2. There are 2 squares in each column. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross off the first 2 squares because we're going to do repeated subtraction. So I'm crossing off the first 2 squares. My problem would be 10 minus 2 because remember we have 10 squares and we're going to cross off our first 2. That's going to give us 8. Now we have 8 squares left. I'm going to cross off another 2. 8 minus 2, or 8 subtracted by 2, equals 6. So now I'm going to continue the pattern until I have none left to cross off, until I get to 0. So I'm going to cross off the next 2. That is 6 subtracted by 2 equals 4. So now I have 4 squares left. I'm going to continue my repeated subtraction, and I'm going to cross off another 2. 4 subtracted by 2 equals 2. Now I'm going to cross off my last 2. 2 subtracted by 2 equals 0. So now I know I can't go any further. So how many times did I... So this tells me that 10 squares can be split into groups of 2. 10 squares split into groups of 2 equals 5 groups because we did our repeated subtraction 5 times, right? We did 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. For this problem, the number of columns tells me how many times I have to subtract, and the number of items in each column tells me what number I am going to subtract. So let's try a different example. All right, friends, so now we have an array of hearts. So how many hearts do we have in all? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12 hearts. So we know when we're starting our repeated addition, we're going to start with the number 12. Now, how many rows do we have? We have 1, 2, 3 rows. And how many hearts are in each row? 4, right? So I know that I'm going to subtract by 4. So 12 subtracted by 4, we're going to cross off our first 4 hearts. 12 subtracted by 4 is 8. Then our next one, since we have 8 hearts left over, we're going to cross off our next 4 to continue our repeated subtraction, sorry guys. So 8 subtracted by 4 is 4. Now we know we have 4 hearts left. So 4 subtracted by 4 equals 0. And we know to stop here. And this is telling us that we were able to subtract 3. We were able to do repeated addition 3 times. So great job, friends. Let's continue doing some more examples. All right, friends, now I want you to get your 6.7 worksheet, and I'm going to show you how to do one of the problems, and then I want you to work independently and try to do your best to solve the problems on your own. But first, I'm going to do the problem with the arrow. So I'm doing the problem that has the arrows in it. How many arrows do we have in total? How many arrows are there? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So we know we are starting with the number 16 when we're going to do our repeated subtraction. But we need to figure out what number we need to subtract. So how many columns do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. But here's the part we need to find out. How many arrows are in each column? 4. So that means I'm going to subtract by 4. So what is 16 subtracted by 4? Right, it's 12. So then we're going to subtract again by 4. So just so we remember, we can put 12. So now we know what's 12 subtracted by 4. Go ahead, I'll give you some time. What's 12 subtracted by 4? Right, it's 8. So just so I remember, I'm going to put an 8. So now I know what's 8 subtracted by 4. We're going to write a 4 again. What's 8 subtracted by 4? Right, it's going to be 4. So now we know we have to subtract 4 with 4. So what's 4 subtracted by 4? 0. And that is how we get our answer, friends. So this is how we check our answer to make sure that it's correct. So if you need any help, remember we have a math help meet, or you can email us and we are here to help you. So today we learned how to use repeated subtraction to help us with our division. All right, friends, you did great. Have a great day.